Is up, hard rock and metal fans? So, yes, it's been a little while, but I'm finally here and finally back with the installment that many of you wanted to know about. My thoughts on the legendary Ronnie James Dio. Now, if you'll notice out here, unlike some of my other videos, I was in fact debating about this. Should I just do a review of Dio, the band discography, and a separate one of Rainbow, because I love both bands? Should I maybe try and do a bit of a different spin on the Black Sabbath discography, non-Aussie era? That was another thought. But I think what I finally settled on in is that is that I think that it's only fair that I really focus on the man himself and what I think are the three greatest records that he ever produced. Okay, now I know that's a big bold statement. I know there are a ton of Dio fans out there, and I welcome all the opinions. I would love to know what you guys think, what albums you think, even from the individual band discographies themselves, which ones would be your top three, top five. Love to hear from you guys. I really appreciate all the guys who reached out and shown a lot of support as I've been doing all these videos for this video guide series. So let's get into it. I don't want to delay any further. So I want to kick things off with this album. Now, this is the first album which I believe Ronnie, when he replaced Ozzy Osbourne as the lead vocalist for Black Sabbath, the first album he produced. All right, with them, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward. Phenomenal record. I think most fans will agree that this is as strong as any sort of output that came from the classic Ozzy lineup of Black Sabbath. Now, again, I don't want to get into a huge argument about what people think, whether this is Black Sabbath or not, but for a record on its own, this stands very strong. I mean, it's got an amazing track list, and I think that Dio really had something to prove on this, and because he does a phenomenal job, the band sounds revitalized in some way, because I mean, we all remember that this actually came out after the Never Say Die album, which not many fans, even me included, I'm not a big fan of. Ozzy left. We're all sad. We always will regard Sabbath as being those four guys: Ozzy, Tony, Geezer, and Bill. But Dio held his own. I mean, you can't just talk about Black Sabbath and not mention this. So I would have to say this is the record that I would pull out, the best one of many. I mean, he did some great work overall for sure, many great albums, but this was really the album that did it. And I think you've got amazing tracks like Neon Nights, Children of the Sea, the title track, of course, Heaven and Hell, which I absolutely love. I think most metal fans love this track, Heaven and Hell. Wishing Well is interesting. Lady Evil. Wow, I mean, that song had me hooked from the get-go. I think that funky bass tune that Geezer puts in just magnifying that track, So I think overall it's just really great. And I think that Die Young, again, just showing a great sense of how diverse Ronnie's vocal range was. And Walk Away was a great track. Wishing Well. Lonely is the Word. Yeah, I think that was a great way to close the album. So overall, a classic record. Now, obviously, I know a lot of guys know what's going to come next, because going in alphabetical order from Black Sabbath, not chronological order, alphabetical order, going from Black Sabbath, I have to come to Dio the band, and I obviously have to choose this one. Again, just like his first record with Sabbath, which is considered to be the best he ever did, not to take anything away from Dio, that that things kind of went downhill, not at all. Phenomenal musician, phenomenal artist. He was deeply missed, and let's not forget, he gave us the metal signs. I mean, he gave us those the horns, that we throw up with our hands during all kinds of rock and metal concerts and any kind of music concerts. You see those guys doing that, so that was his thing. I mean, he's considered to be the guy who actually created that for us, and he will be missing, as you can see from these pictures which I put earlier and which I'll put at the end. You can see him lifting his hand that way. So I mean, his contribution is immense. So anyway, coming back to it, so obviously Holy Diver is the album I have to do. Obviously, it has a favorite musician of mine who started his career with Dio, which is Vivian Campbell. He's obviously in Def Leppard, and you guys know what a big fan I am of Def Leppard. But anyway, that's a different story. You guys can check that out in the other part of the channel and about my reviews on the Leopard albums. But coming back to all things Dio, this really is the album. I mean, what have you got here? I mean, you got songs like Stand Up and Shout, Holy Diver, Gypsy, Don't Talk to Strangers, Rainbow in the Dark. Wow, I mean, that is a song that perfectly balanced, like integrity for the metal genre as well as crossing over into, you could even say, a commercial realm in certain ways, really exposing the band for its debut and giving it such a wide ranging audience. But it's a great track. It's something that you can just keep on listening to. Shame on the Night, Invisible, Straight Through the Heart. I forgot to mention Caught in the Middle earlier. It just has so much diversity, and I think that was brilliant. Just the chemistry that this lineup had. I mean, and the fact that, when you look at most reviews, either in magazines, television, here on YouTube, which I know a lot of guys come to, you'll notice that most guys always put this as being the best Dio album. So I got to put this out there and say that, this is Ronnie at one of his finest moments. So obviously with that, I have to come to the third record, and I have to choose the band Rainbow. Now, which one am I going to choose? Well, a lot of you guys might think, was it the debut? Was it, Rainbow Rising? Those are phenomenal records, and trust me guys, I love them, but I have to choose this one. Long live rock and roll, long live Ronnie James Dio's legacy. I mean, this is something phenomenal. With Richie Blackmore's outfit that he fronted for a while. I think he made those 3 records. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if I'm making a mistake, but I think this was his third and final record with the band. But this was really, talk about going out on a high. I think, if I'm not wrong, I think the sequence, since I was mentioning about chronological order, I think it was from here he went to Sabbath, and from Sabbath then he formed Dio the band. So obviously concluding this as the third record, which I think stands out, is Long Live Rock and Roll. I mean, you have the song Long Live Rock and Roll, which is the first track I ever heard from Rainbow when I was in college. Just blew me away. I knew who Dio was, so it just blew me away. So I had to get this record, and I miss record stores, and just finding this record there and being able to get it home and play it. Lady of the Lake, LA Connection, Gates of Babylon, very interesting track, and very much in that whole fantasy realm and so on that Dio is known for. And I think the fact that Richie and him work so well together, just like how Tony and Dio worked so well in Sabbath, and Vivian obviously supported Dio in the Dio band. This was again another classic example of great partnership, and you can see that with songs like Kill the King, Sensitive to Light, and obviously The Shed. My God, it's just like, it kind of reminds me of on the Heaven and Hell record, that song Evil, Lady Evil, because it just got this kind of really funky, interesting beat to it, so I just really like that track a lot. Very interesting from many perspectives. I know I'm saying interesting a lot, but it really is worth checking out. But I think the crowning achievement on this record, and guys, look, I'm not trying to go soft on anyone, but I think the crowning achievement is the final track, which is Rainbow Eyes. I mean, Ronnie's voice on that. Now, if you are fans of the second Rainbow album, which was, Rainbow Rising, where he had, if I'm not wrong, I think you had was it Stargazer, or was it, wait, let me just, Stargazer. I'm just looking at the track listing here, and Starstruck. You had some, really interesting, numbers which were on this record, and even the first debut that they had. But I think that Rainbow Eyes was something that really showcased so much of emotion, so much of subtlety, wide variety of texture, the ability for Ronnie to evoke these emotions and make you feel for him, as he's singing this song, which is got this such bittersweet feel to it. And I know for a fact that the first time I played this, I swear to you, my mother, who is not as big of a rock and metal person as you might imagine, but she was so taken in, and she's a huge fan of Dio's. I mean, he is one of the few singers, along with Freddie Mercury and a couple of others, whom she's a fan of, and she absolutely loves this track, and I do too, and so do I know a lot of other guys. It's really something that you got to soak in. This was something like, and I'm going to say this. I mean, for a lot of you guys who haven't heard this, this is kind of like something like Nothing Else Matters, or Hearing November Rain, or When Love and Hate Collide from Def Leppard. Not in the same context, but I'm just saying that, just to give you a sense of scope and scale, and just the kind of breadth and width of the lyric and the music and all of that. So you don't have to agree. I'd love to know your thoughts. For a lot of you Rainbow fans who are out there and have a different take, it would be great to know. So that's it, guys. Those are 3 records for all of you who are not familiar with Dio, the singer. This is a great way to explore his time in each of these bands and check it out. And I like to conclude by saying that God bless you, Ronnie. We miss you, and rest in peace, and keep rocking wherever you are. Till next time, guys, stay cool, stay care, and I'll see you on the next one.